Have you ever paused and wondered why some moments in life feel heavier than others? Not because of what's happening physically, but because of what's quietly being communicated beneath the surface. Many people believe intimacy is purely physical. They assume it starts and ends with attraction, chemistry, and the body. Yet, the deeper reality is far more layered. Intimacy begins in the mind before it ever becomes physical. It is a quiet exchange of trust, emotion, and energy between two individuals. What many men don't fully realize is that for a woman, these moments are rarely just about desire. They represent vulnerability and emotional exposure. In those quiet spaces where two people connect deeply, something far more meaningful is being evaluated. She isn't only responding to your actions. She is responding to who you are, your composure, your presence, your emotional control. These communicate more than words ever could because in moments of closeness, social masks tend to slip away. The image someone presents to the world fades, leaving their authentic emotional character behind. Women often sense this instinctively. They may not always explain it logically, but they feel it. They observe tone, body language, and the steadiness of your energy. This is why intimacy often becomes a psychological test without anyone openly calling it one. In today's video, we're exploring 5 powerful psychological truths about intimacy through a stoic lens. Not the romantic fantasy people usually discuss, but the deeper emotional dynamics shaping attraction, trust, and connection. These insights are grounded in human psychology and emotional intelligence. Once you understand them, your perspective on relationships begins to shift. Before we continue, I'm curious. Where are you watching from today? Share your city or country in the comments. It's always fascinating to see how far this community of observers and thinkers has spread. Let's begin with the first truth, because the first thing intimacy reveals to a woman is something most men overlook: emotional safety. Before we dive deeper, it's important to recognize that men and women often experience intimacy very differently on a psychological level. For many men, intimacy feels straightforward. Attraction grows, chemistry appears, and physical closeness follows. The focus stays on the moment itself. For most women, however, that same moment carries layers of emotional meaning. It represents vulnerability. When a woman allows emotional and physical closeness, she is entering a space where her guard naturally lowers. This shift isn't random. It is deeply connected to the human need for safety and trust. Psychologists often explain that emotional security is one of the strongest foundations of attraction for women. Before genuine closeness can develop, the mind constantly scans for signals. Is this person stable? Are they calm under pressure? Do they carry confidence or uncertainty? These questions are rarely spoken aloud. Instead, the answers are gathered quietly through observation. She notices how you react to stress. She watches how you handle disagreements. She senses whether your presence feels steady or unpredictable. These subtle details shape the emotional environment where intimacy either grows or fades. This is why confidence alone is not enough. Confidence that feels forced often creates tension rather than comfort. What truly attracts on a deeper level is emotional stability, a calm, grounded presence that signals safety without needing to announce it. From a psychological perspective, this stability allows the nervous system to relax. When someone feels emotionally secure around you, their body naturally opens. Posture softens, tone warms, and connection deepens. Many men misunderstand this dynamic, assuming attraction is built through dominance, intensity, or constant effort to impress. In reality, the strongest attraction often develops in quiet moments where someone feels safe enough to simply be themselves. That sense of safety isn't weakness. It's the foundation of trust. And once trust begins to form, intimacy stops being purely physical. It becomes a moment where a woman silently asks herself an important question. Can I truly feel safe with this man? This leads to the first psychological truth. Intimacy often serves as a test of emotional safety. When a woman allows herself to be close, it's rarely just about attraction. Beneath the surface, she is quietly evaluating the emotional environment. She's asking herself a question most men never hear out loud. Do I feel safe here? Safety in this sense goes beyond physical protection. It is about emotional steadiness. Her mind constantly reads signals telling her whether she can relax or needs to remain guarded. These signals come from small behaviors with enormous psychological weight. How you react to the unexpected, how you manage tension, whether your emotions feel controlled or unpredictable. If she senses anger, insecurity, or ego-driven behavior, her instincts tighten. Even if she continues the interaction politely, her body remains alert. The feminine psyche is deeply wired for emotional awareness, and long before conscious thought, the nervous system evaluates the situation. Is he calm, centered, capable of handling intensity without losing control? These questions are answered through observation. Emotional discipline matters far more than most men realize. When a man carries himself with steadiness, reacting calmly even under stress, he communicates reliability without speaking. And reliability creates safety. Once safety appears, something shifts. Her body relaxes. Emotional walls begin to lower. Vulnerability becomes possible. Many men mistake vulnerability for weakness, but psychologically, it is the opposite. Vulnerability is the moment someone chooses to trust you with their unguarded self. In these moments, a woman responds not to dominance or performance, but to composure, the ability to remain grounded and hold emotional space without chaos. This is the foundation of lasting attraction, but emotional safety alone creates trust, not desire. Once trust opens the door, something else builds the tension that follows. This brings us to the second truth. Intimacy often becomes a measure of a man's inner strength. This isn't about physical power, it's about strength of presence. Attraction isn't always logical. Much of it operates on instinct. Beneath conversation and behavior, the mind constantly assesses signals revealing confidence, composure, and emotional stability. During emotionally intense moments, people reveal who they truly are. Some become nervous, some overly eager for approval, others try too hard to impress. The man who stands out remains calm and centered. This calmness communicates self-comfort. He doesn't need to prove his value because he already knows it. Certainty is incredibly attractive. It allows someone to relax emotionally because they feel they are with someone steady rather than unpredictable. Emotional composure often carries more influence than loud displays of confidence. A grounded man who moves slowly and speaks with patience creates a natural sense of gravity. For a woman, that gravity signals leadership, not control over her, but control over himself. Self-control is one of the strongest signals of strength. Anyone can appear confident when things are comfortable, but when emotions rise, true character becomes visible. If a man remains steady in those moments, his presence becomes reassuring. The dynamic shifts from evaluation to connection. What she responds to is not dominance over her, but mastery over self, and this distinction matters deeply. Once presence is established, the next layer of attraction isn't about power at all. It's about authenticity. One of the biggest myths about attraction is the belief that you must constantly impress someone. Many men feel they must say the perfect lines or project an ideal image, but most people can sense performance. Humans are remarkably skilled at detecting emotional inconsistency. When words and energy don't match, something feels off, even if it can't be explained logically. Women often notice this quickly. A man may say he cares, but if his tone feels distracted, the message loses power. Authenticity means showing up without unnecessary performance, speaking honestly, reacting naturally, and allowing your real personality to exist without constant self-monitoring. During intimacy, authenticity becomes even more visible. Social masks fall away in emotionally intense moments. Behaviors used to impress become harder to maintain. What remains is genuine emotional presence. Small details reveal everything. How you speak when relaxed, your comfort with silence, your patience, your breathing. These communicate far more than rehearsed confidence. When someone senses genuine presence, it signals you aren't trying to manipulate the situation. You are simply there, and presence is powerful. When one person shows authentic presence, it encourages the other to relax and open up. This mutual openness is where deeper connection begins. The fourth truth follows naturally. Intimacy becomes a moment of emotional transparency. In daily life, people wear social masks. At work, we appear professional. With friends, we show humor. But in deep closeness, those masks fade. Intimacy reveals who someone truly is beneath the roles they play. This is why these moments feel intense. They are moments of being truly seen. During them, a woman observes subtle details, your focus, your calmness, your reactions. These observations happen naturally, often without conscious thought. A man comfortable with himself appears relaxed. His movements feel natural, his tone steady. A man anxious about impressing may show tension, rushed words, scattered energy. Emotional presence means fully engaging with the moment instead of performing for approval. When one person remains calm and genuine, the other often mirrors that state. Openness grows. Attraction evolves into connection. The fifth truth is essential. Real intimacy requires mutual surrender. Many misunderstand power in relationships, assuming attraction is about dominance. True connection happens when both people allow defenses to soften. In daily life, people protect themselves emotionally. In genuine closeness, those layers begin to ease. A woman may share thoughts she normally keeps private because she senses safety. But the same applies to the man. The strongest presence isn't one that avoids vulnerability. It knows when to remain composed and when to allow real emotion. Surrender doesn't mean losing control. It means replacing performance with authenticity. Both people stop trying to impress and begin experiencing the moment honestly. This exchange of openness strengthens trust and deepens connection. The sixth truth, intimacy reflects emotional discipline. While charm and excitement spark attraction, emotional stability sustains it. A man who manages his emotions calmly creates a secure environment. He doesn't react impulsively or allow ego and insecurity to dominate his behavior. Consistency signals maturity, and maturity builds trust. A woman notices how a man responds to pressure and disagreement. If emotions fluctuate wildly, the environment feels unstable. Balanced reactions create calm and reliability, qualities deeply attractive in a chaotic world. Finally, intimacy is an exchange of emotional energy. When two people connect deeply, conversations feel natural. Silence feels comfortable and time seems to slow. Psychologists call this emotional synchrony, when two individuals begin matching each other's emotional rhythm. This synchrony creates harmony. If you remain calm, she relaxes. If you show warmth, she opens. The bond strengthens through this feedback loop. Genuine connection grows through steadiness, not forced excitement. The final lesson ties everything together. Intimacy reflects self-mastery. Emotional safety, composure, authenticity, vulnerability, discipline, and energy all point to one central idea. Strong connections are built through character, not performance. Intimacy is not a game to win. It is a space where two people meet with honesty and respect. When both bring emotional awareness into that space, meaningful connection forms naturally. Before we finish, if you watch to the end, comment stoic. And if this video helped you see connection in a new way, like subscribe and share it with someone who values psychology and self-improvement. This is Personality Psychology with Teal Swan. Until next time, stay observant, stay disciplined, and keep growing.